Thank you, Ryan. That's amazing. Wow. So good to be back here. Love Sundays. Aren't Sundays beautiful? So, a guy walks into a bar. Let's start with that. Guy walks into a bar and he hears his voice saying, "You're looking good." And he's thinking, "Whoa, who said that?" Looks around, doesn't see anybody, but he's like, "Oh, okay. That was nice." So he orders his drink from the bartender, and then he hears a voice again saying, "Wow, you've got a great smile." He's like, "Who said that?" So the bartender comes back with his drink, and the guy says, "Hey, I don't know, am I hearing voices or something? I thought somebody told me I look good and I have a good smile." And he goes, "Oh, it's the nuts. They're complimentary." Oh gosh. So, okay, my title today is Lights, Camera, Action. And I love this because to me, life is one big movie, right? And we're all just the characters. We play all the roles. We're the director. We're the writer. Our life is our movie that we are creating. Things don't happen to us. We make things happen. That's how it works. So there's a process when you make a movie. You have, and I'm going through this right now because I have a script and we're going through this. You have development, and then you have pre-production, and then you have production, and then you have post-production. Production, when you're actually shooting the movie, that's the action. But before that, you have to have all the preparation. You get basically the lights, the camera, and then action, right? You make sure everything's in place. It's like ready, set, go. On your mark, get set, go. So when we take action, we have to put some thought into it. Lao Tzu has this whole thing that he says. He says, watch your thoughts because your thoughts become your words. Watch your words because your words become your actions. Watch your actions because your actions become your habits. Watch your habits because your habits become your character. And watch your character because your character becomes your destiny. And see how we create all that? It's just like Ernest Holmes says, everything begins with a thought. It's that thought that starts off the whole process. Karma yoga in Vedanta is the path of action. It's the path of service. It's the path that in the Mahabharata and the Bhagavad Gita, when Arjuna is on the battlefield and he's asking Krishna, "What should I do? What should I do?" And Krishna says, "You have to take action." He says, "You've prepared your whole life for this moment on the battlefield. You've prepared. You've been a student. You've been the archer. You've been the warrior. You've been in other battles. This is the big time. This is the big time. Now's not the time to quit. Now's not the time to give up. Rely on the preparation that you have to know who you are and to know the right thing to do." There was a story about how, when Arjuna was learning, I think I've told you guys this story too, so forgive me if I'm doing reruns, but all these stories apply to these topics. So when Arjuna was a student learning how to shoot, there were other students in the class. And the teacher asked one of them, "Come on up. Okay, aim. See that bird in the tree way over there? Aim at that bird. Now tell me what you see." And the archer was saying, "Okay, I see the tree, and I see a branch, I see the leaves, and I see the bird. The teacher says, sit back down. You're not ready. Then another student comes up, and he says, okay, student, tell me what you see. And he says, I see the bird. I see his feathers. I see that it's red and it's white, and he's black, got a black head. I see the bird so clearly. Teacher says, sit back down. You're not ready. So then Arjuna comes up, and Arjuna aims, and the teacher says, what do you see? And he says, I see the bird's eye. He says, oh, anything else? No, I see the eye. That's all I see is the bird's eye. He says, you're ready. We have to have that laser-pointed focus that we don't see anything else. That is what we are here to do. Sorry, I keep taking my glasses on and off. I forgot my other glasses. This is like, my lesson is to learn to bring my glasses. Okay, so for us, what is our preparation? Our preparation is the spiritual work that we need to do to know who we are. And we may know it intellectually who we are. We may know intellectually what we're supposed to do or what the right thing is to do. But do we know it in our hearts, and do we act on it? There's a story about a grandfather who wanted to teach his grandson something. So he says, come out rowing with me, grandson. Let's go for a little ride. So they go out in the canoe, and the grandfather says, you do the rowing. And he's rowing, and he's rowing, and he's rowing, and he's rowing, and he's like, when are we getting to where we're going to go? And goes, oh, here we are. They stop, turns around. They see this beautiful sunset. So they sit there for a minute and watch the beautiful sunset. And then the grandfather says, okay, turn it around. We're going back. You're doing the rowing. And he's like, okay, rowing and rowing and rowing and rowing and rowing and rowing. And he gets back. He's exhausted. The grandfather says, wow, wasn't that fun? Wasn't that a great day? And the grandson says, actually, no, that was not fun. You made me do all the rowing. We get to the sunset, and hey, yeah, it's great. But, 5 minutes we stayed, and then you made me do all the rowing all the way back. And the grandfather said, well, this is what I want you to learn. You have to learn to love the rowing. Because this is life. Life is 90% rowing, 90% work, and 10% those beautiful sunsets. So if you don't learn to love the rowing, love the work, love the struggle, your life is just going to be miserable. That's part of the preparation that we have to do before we take action. Make sure that we love the rowing. Otherwise, it's going to be miserable. Okay. So then we have camera. Camera, so lights is our focus, right? What are we focusing on? Camera is our mind. What's the picture going to look like? A director, when he has the camera, he frames the picture. What is it going to look like? What are we thinking? What do we want? What are we creating? Before we take action, we should know that. Before a director films a movie, they make what's called a storyboard, where they have the illustrations of what every frame is going to be, and that's how they prepare. So we prepare by doing this, by having a clear picture of what we want our life to be like, and then working towards that. There's a famous quote, I think, that Ernest Holmes says and everything about our thoughts, we become what we think, right? What we think, we become. But I heard, and also that, because that is true, what we think, we become. And to take it a step further, Rupert Spira, who's a Vedantin, and he is an amazing spiritual teacher. He says Yes, that is the truth. But more than that, we are what we cannot think. Meaning that we are beyond the mind. The mind is in the level of this world, which we know to be unreal, which we think is real, but we know it to be unreal. But we are beyond what we can think. It's like we are beyond what we can touch. We are beyond what we can see. We are beyond what we can smell, taste, hear. We are beyond that. We are that oneness of everything. That's who we are. So we can, what we think we become in this world, what we think we become, what we appear to be, you know, a nice person, a successful businessman, a great artist, a wonderful songwriter, all that. But besides that, who we really are is beyond what we can even comprehend, which I think is like pretty amazing, pretty amazing. So we have to practice by studying, learning, and putting things into practice. We have knowledge, but we want a higher knowledge. And Ramakrishna has this interesting analogy. He says, when you get a splinter in your finger, you tend to take another splinter to take it out, and then you throw away both of them. So the who we think we are is the splinter. Who we know we are, the highest, is the splinter with which we take out the other splinter, and then we can throw them both away and know that we're beyond that. Does that make sense? Kind of. I know. It's something to think about. It's something to meditate on, right? It's pretty profound. I mean, Ramakrishna, I'm sure, explains it a lot better than I do. I'm passing it down, so think about it. Okay. What do we remember? What do we keep in this mind? What are we thinking about all the time? Because it's hard to turn our mind off. Vivekananda says that in the Bhagavad Gita, he reminds us all the time, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says to Arjuna, keep your mind on me. Keep your mind on God. Keep your mind on the highest and the best. Keep your mind on the divine. If your mind like automatically goes there, anytime, if you get in the habit, like Lao Tzu's thoughts, words, actions, habits, all this stuff, right? If we start with the thought, and it's a pure thought, it's a clear thought, it's a loving thought, everything else just falls into place. So Krishna says, keep your mind on me at all times. Jesus said that too, right? In a different way. But it was like, that's what I'm here for. I'm here to take your troubles. I'm here to support you. I'm here to be your rock so that you know I got your back. And you know that that is the foundation that you can count on. So it's very important that we practice mindfully thinking of God. And one way Vivekananda says is music. Says music is a path towards enlightenment. Because music is words, but it's not just, talk. Music adds that layer that stirs the soul so that you can feel it and also think it. It's amazing. So that was my goal. I'm going to do a plug, just like Ryan did, okay? That was my goal when I turned the Bhagavad Gita into songs. Each chapter is a song. So when you listen to this music and you memorize these verses, I mean, how many times have you like been going about your day and then you hear a song play in your head and you think, yeah, that's a pretty cool song. And then you think, oh, que sera, sera. What will be, will be. What a great message. That's what I needed to hear right now. It's like this reminder. Yeah, let it be. Let it be, let it be. The Beatles had so many of those good ones. All you need is love. Okay, those are great reminders of affirmations we can put in our minds to help us get over the hump. Music can be a really great spiritual practice. Okay, so here's the question. What keeps us from action? We know we're prepared. We're doing all this preparation. We know we're ready. But like Arjuna on the battlefield, he gets cold feet. He's like, I don't know. Should I do this or not? And Krishna's saying, you're prepared. What stops us from action? Well, like Arjuna, maybe we feel we're not ready. We have doubts about ourselves. We have questions. What do I do? Why me? Why am I in this situation? Am I not good enough? Is it the right time? Maybe I need to wait till next week to do this. No, now is the time. Now you are here. If not now, when? Now is the only time there is. There's no delay. There's no room for delay in our life. We're going to delay long enough, we're going to be dead. So we don't want to do that. We want to act now. If we have the urge to do something, there's a reason why. And I don't know if you've heard this, but if someone tells you something and you, oh, okay, think about it, but then you hear it again from someone else, or you see a sign, you hear it 3 times, oh my gosh, why are you not paying attention? This is God not only whispering in your ear, this is God hitting you over the head saying, go this direction. This is meant for you. And if you don't do it, that's on you. But hopefully you do it. And Krishna even says to Arjuna, it's your choice, Arjuna, whether you act or not. But I'm telling you, if you think you're going to run away from this thing, you got another guess coming, because I know your nature. I know your nature. It's in you to be here. You were born for this. We can't run away from our problems, no matter how tough they are. We've got what we got for a reason. Our problems, our struggles are how we learn who we are. It's tough, but we got the problems we got for a reason. God gave them to us for a reason. And we need to pay attention, and we need to work through it. And we need to be grateful for the problems we have, because we have them because we can handle them. And it's like, I don't know if you heard this story, but if you were in a room full of people and you said, okay, everybody's going to write down their problems on a piece of paper, put it in a pile, we're going to mix them all up, and then you take somebody else's, and those are the problems you're going to have to deal with. Would you do it? Would you trade your problems for somebody else's? I wouldn't. I'd be way afraid of having worse than what I've got, Oh, no. So you got your life. You got to make the best of it. You got to work through it. This is your duty. This is your dharma. This is your purpose in life. So, another reason we might refuse to take action or be scared is because you say, look, I'm just one person. I'm just one person. This is too big for one person. This is too much for me to carry. My shoulders aren't big enough. Well, when I wrote this down, I'm just one, I remembered in the 7th grade, this was a turning point in my life. In the 7th grade, the Optimist Club had a speech contest for kids. I was in middle school. My English teacher said, you should be in this speech contest. I said, what? I've never given a speech in my life. But she says, you might as well try. I think you can do it. And something in me said, yeah, I think I can do it. Why not? I'm going to try. And the topic we were given is, I'm just one. And here I am, literally 50 years later, speaking on the same topic as I was when I was 12 years old. Okay, now, is that a sign that this is my dharma or what? This is my purpose. This is reminding people, you're just one, but never doubt the difference, the impact that one person can make. One of my favorite stories from Hindu mythology is about Ram. Ram was a great god. He was the incarnation before Krishna. And he was building a bridge. Okay, you would think he needed to build a bridge because he had to get over to save his wife, Sita. You would think that Ram, big god that he is, could just fly over the ocean, could just magically propel himself. But no, he was in a human body. He had to build a bridge. All the monkeys, all the elephants, all the bears, all the creatures came to help him build this bridge. It was a massive undertaking. Big boulders had to be moved. Imagine building a bridge across the ocean. That is huge. And there was this little squirrel, and he was like running around trying to put sand in between the bricks. And he got in the way of a monkey. And the monkey's like, squirrel, what are you doing? You're in our way. You're slowing us down. And he threw the squirrel. The squirrel landed right in Ram's palm of his hand. And Ram said, little squirrel, what are you doing? How did you get here? And he said, I'm trying to help. I want to help you build a bridge. But I'm just a little squirrel. I wanted to help you build a bridge. But, I was putting the sand in between the bricks because I have little hands and I can do that. And then the other people, they can carry heavy things, but I can't carry heavy things. He says, little squirrel, you are doing such a good job. Of course you can help me. He called the monkeys over and he says, let the squirrels help you. He's doing a great job. We need him. We need everyone. Everyone has a place. Everyone has a job to do. Everyone has a responsibility. And every single one makes a difference. So it doesn't matter if you're a monkey or you're a squirrel, you're an elephant. It doesn't matter. You're a person. You have a job to do. So you might as well do it. Take action. Okay. So we also might fear change. We might fear criticism. We might fear failure. What if I do it and I lose? What if I do it and it's wrong? What if I do it and they don't like it? Does that matter? No, because we learn by doing. That's how we learn. There's no such thing as failure. It's only another step towards success, as long as we keep going and going and going. Krishna told Arjuna on that battlefield, you can control your actions, so do your very best. Rise up, Arjuna. Do your very best. However, know that you cannot control the outcome. Trust Brahman to do the rest. Says that's up to God. You do your part and leave the rest to God. It's like you have a plan and you want to get there, but leave the details to God, how you're going to get there. Look for those little signposts along the way. You don't have to have all the answers. You don't have to have all the answers. But you need to look for the answers. That's your duty. You need to look for those answers. Okay. What's next? Okay, I'm going to end with a quote from Ernest Holmes. He says, as you learn to release all your burdens to the right action of God, you will find that everything falls into its proper place. There we go. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.